5. All right, it is starting. And then, is it live? Oh, okay. I have the notification, so I am going to share it among the people, and I'm going to tag you so that it's on your page.
Great.
And so that's what happened. It has a new thingamabobber.
Yes, technology. It's
All of
forever
that.
changing.
Yes, all of the upgrades and the algorithms and
Algorithms, and as long as you got your lamp close by, you good. Got your lamp close.
you gotta keep the lamp next to you.
Got to keep the lamp on. Shoot.
Okay, I just tagged you. I'm gonna pull it up on my other phone so I can check the comments as we go, and then we'll get.
And you have to mute your phone, right? So because it needs 2 speakers, right? Something like that. That's why I
Yes,
kept
I'm
it.
glad you
Yeah.
reminded me of that because I would have forgotten.
Yeah. I'm just doing this from experience. I'm just watching everybody else do what they do, the experience of what they go through.
Yeah, it's a doozy. All right, we are, let me go back to our page. Okay, we are ready. Good evening, everyone. I hope you all are well. This is Akua TJ Robinson with Naturally Community, and welcome to our Community Hour of Power. I am very, very excited for today's Hour of Power. Come on in, and we are going to start with a brief meditation, a brief moment of just centering ourselves and bringing us back. It has been a doozy of a week for so many people across the timelines and things like that, just thinking about the state that we are in. And so it is always good for us to just pause for a moment. So get comfortable. If you're sitting, whatever you are doing right now, just find a comfortable position, a comfortable seat, and take a breath out and inhale and exhale and inhale. And just continue with that breathing motion. And as you are breathing, just going to listen to the sound of my voice. And with every exhale, just imagine the stress and the worry just melting away. And with every inhale, just imagine life and light and love just consuming your whole entire being. And just continue this breathing. And as you continue just breathing, just remind yourself that you are unique and special. There is no one else on this earth who is exactly like you. You have been thought about, every single aspect of you, down to how many hairs are on your head, is uniquely you. You are intelligent and capable. You are a divine being that God has breathed life into. And you are worthy of feeling well. You are worthy of feeling healthy and healing. And you are worthy of all of the dreams and goals and passions and desires that you have. So with every exhale, release the fear. And with every inhale, accept the faith. With every exhale, release the doubt. And with every inhale, breathe in the confidence and knowing that you are capable of everything. And in all things, we beautiful, Black, African, strong, beautiful, handsome people, we are more than well. We are more than well. We are liberated. We are free. We are everything that we are to authentically be in this life. Amen. Ashe, it is
Yes, sir.
so.
Yes,
Welcome,
sir.
welcome everyone. As you come back, feel free to open your eyes if you close them. Welcome, welcome again to Community Hour of Power. We are so, so excited. Just going to start us off with a couple announcements. The food bank is going so well. Please check out our flyers that we put out every single week. The food bank has 3 locations on some second and fourth Mondays, every Thursday, every Tuesday, second Saturdays, and third Sundays between Friendly Friendship Baptist Church, Spirit of Truth Baptist Church, and New Providence Baptist Church. So we are thankful for all of the good, and it's good quality food. It's good quality food. So please check that out. If you are a student is in need of tutorings, we have Zoom tutoring available. The link is in our bio. And it's just fun to see what Natural Week has in store. Every week on Thursdays, we have Natural Week Community Hour of Power, and it is just exciting to interview the people between Tim and ourselves and the whole Natural Week team. So welcome, welcome. We have with us today Chef Cheryl Tate. So excited. Chef Cheryl Tate is a 4th generation Angelino growing up in the South LA area. Her father, uncles, grandfather, and great grandfather were all Pullman porters. A rich legacy of food service and hospitality has given Chef Tate the people edge, as both sides of her family are steeped in service to the community on many sectors. Nurturing Chef's Personal Chef Service is the company name based on Chef's approach to food. A graduate of Le Cordon Bleu School of Culinary, hey, is giving the chef a foundational insight into food. A personal chef for the past 10 years. Y'all, her food is
Yes.
good. I know we're gonna talk about it, but I'm just gonna say that her food's good.
Testimony. Thank
Helping
you.
clients solve their what's for dinner question with a variety of diets: vegan, restrictive, Dr. Sebi, keto, and simply good food. Chef Tate is a partner with UMMA Community Clinic under the Black Visions of Wellness program, teaching healthy eating and engaging conversations on healthy living in the greater LA area. She has lent her hand to many organizations: United Friends of the Children, the Rites of Passage at Faithful Central Bible Church, My Friend's House, Alex Lemonade Stand Foundation, USC and UCLA, and their community health organizations, as well as the middle school, but we'll talk about that later.
Yes, that's right. That's right. That's another story.
The chef has created a juice called Everyday Elixir, which supports the immune system and extension of service to the community for health and wellness. And so without further ado, welcome Chef Cheryl Tate, but please
Thank
say hello
you.
in your own way.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. It's so good to see you. Happy Black History Month, but we know it's 365 days a year. We know that, okay? But we know we'll take February, but we know March 1st we're gonna, keep it pushing, okay? But it's an honor and a privilege to be here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I
Thank
appreciate
you
it.
so much. So, Chef, how did you get started cooking? We know that in your bio said that your family is Pullman porters and you come from
Right.
a line of chefs, but how did you get started cooking?
Okay, so like I said, we're people. So I've been through many people careers before I came to culinary. I worked in the garment industry for 15 years. I worked as a administrative assistant in landscaping. Um, Different people modalities, property management. Um, Before any of this happened, I wanted to go into medicine, but the sight of blood didn't work, but then it kept centering around the person. It kept centering around servicing the person. So after going through several careers that are people oriented, and again, downsizing with my career in landscaping, I said, well, let me try culinary. Let me just try culinary. I know this is what my family does. Let me try it. And I'm most comfortable here. And as people are my target, food is my vehicle. Food is my vehicle. And it's a wonderful vehicle because, we eat all the time. We have to eat, and it's an ever-changing thing. And now, which is really an interesting time in our lives for what we have going on with the pandemic, we really need to concentrate more on what it is that we eat. Because now, we're at home and we have some resources, maybe not all, but just like you have a food giveaway, that's a resource, okay? So, and you just said it's good food.
It is
You
good.
need to take that food and you need to go home and you need to prepare it. So, servicing the person has really been my passion, and food being a vehicle is just a great vehicle. I enjoy it so much. The people that I meet, the lives that I change, it's just powerful. It's very intentional. I have personal chef clients that have come to me who've had allergies or a situation, or they had a restriction of some kind. And I was able to meet those restrictions or meet those diets and meet that protocol. And over a period of time, because we know nothing happens overnight, they were able to, get better. They were able to slack off on their, not take as much medicine, or the allergy went away. Okay. Or their life improved. And again, their life improved because, one, they didn't have to cook, one, with being a personal chef. So I've relieved that stress level. I've relieved that stress level. And so another modality of that is being in the community and talking about healthy eating. Because, just like you have those wonderful food giveaways, I've seen some food giveaways where people got food and they didn't know what to do with it. Like there was a mix in there. They weren't really sure what there was, a vegetable that they weren't really clear about. So, I feel that when we would do food giveaways or farmers markets, when I was working with UMA, I would take the produce and prepare something right there for them so they could see what it is that they could do with the food and go home and do it themselves. So, we really have to be hands-on with what it is we do, and our food choices. Our food choices are just really, really important. Yes.
The
Mm-hmm.
comments are already going, so I'm just gonna take a moment.
Okay. Yay!
We have hey Chef Cheryl, we have hey
Hey.
Chef Tate. So what
Okay.
so the Natural We community council of elders we miss you. So Miss
Oh, I
Olivia
miss y'all.
Tim is always saying hello.
Thank
And
you.
we have a comment. So are you saying we can't eat muffins all day? And so this is like,
Everything in moderation. Just remember, everything in moderation. Okay. Sneak some Brussels sprouts in between. Okay.
I mean, so we have mentioned these muffins a couple times already. So listen, y'all. Chef Tate makes these muffins that are just perfection,
They're
and
love muffins. It's
they
love.
they are love, and you really feel the love when you just take that first bite of the muffin.
Thank you.
And so we have fought over these muffins. Like Chef
All
Tate
right.
has brought them to our
Somebody licked
board.
one and said, you can't have that. I heard that from
We
somebody
are
the other
we she can barely get into the door when she made
day.
them
Okay.
for our meetings before, talking about these muffins. So if you do nothing else, you must order muffins from Chef
Yes, you
Tate.
must.
And when you
Yes, you
order
must.
muffins
Yes,
from
yes,
Chef
yes,
Tate, you must save 3 for me and let me know, because I told you that you have to order these muffins from Chef Tate. And okay, Miss Olivia says she loves Brussels sprouts. She can do that.
There you go. See? That was easy. That was easy. Oh my goodness.
But one of the things that you're talking about is that it's more than just here you go. It's more than let me slap some ingredients together and
Right.
that's it. And
Right.
and it,
Right.
and so you really are, when you are really putting the soul into soul food. It's not just
Yes.
talking about, okay, we're gonna eat some fried chicken and some oxtails and some macaroni and cheese with our
Right.
cabbage and everything, get some gumbo, but really
Right.
the love and care that you put into your food. Can you just talk about that for a little bit?
Sure, sure, I can. Well, I'm very intentional, and again, like I said, people are my goal and food is my vehicle. And so I find that in cooking, which I love very much, because guess what? I like cooking too. Okay. So I like eating too, excuse me. Muffins, my great ones. Okay. But I find that, well, let me just back up some more. I've always had people serve me. Always someone here, here's a plate of food. Growing up, my mother cooked for me. My uncles that were, my one uncle that didn't go into the railroad, he went into catering. And he would always say, hey, let me fix you something. So someone has always been serving me food, and it's always been with love. So and I felt very good in the process. So I figured if I can duplicate that, that's a win. So in becoming a chef and becoming a personal chef, it's wonderful to work in the restaurants. I've worked in, some wonderful kitchens. I worked at Mattel, and that was a wonderful experience. But it was the intention of making sure that whatever it was you were giving to that person was good. Okay. And that should be the intention of every chef, every culinary professional. But I tend to, because of my background, like I said, I have 4 generations, and I'm sure before that somebody else was serving, but my family has always been based around service. It's always been based around the human. It's always been based around how can I improve the situation? So with food being my vehicle, I'm able to do it in a loving way. I'm able to do it in an intentional way, because I want you well. I want this food to be of benefit to you. I'm not just cooking. I want this to be of benefit to you. And that's my intention. That's my intention. And I'm sure you taste that in the muffins, because that's my intention, and especially when I cook for people. We have gotten away from people caring for each other. I'm just going to get basic. We have got away from people caring for each other. And the way that we cared for each other was through food. Food is a caring act. Cooking is a caring act. Your mom cooked for you. My mom cooked for me. We sat around a family table. Everybody ate. Everybody communicated. That's connectedness. That's family. Those are the things that we're missing right now in this world. Us sitting across from each other, we're missing these things, and these things are affecting our health, believe it or not. Yes, you can, it's wonderful to sit across from somebody. We have this virus going on, and we can't do that. We're a communal people. And so when we come together and we eat, it's a healing situation. So when you think about that, that's why I really try in my food to put the intention in it, because maybe you're not going to eat in front of somebody, or maybe it's a different circumstance, but at least when you open up that package and you eat my food, you're going to know that I was thinking about you. My intention was for you to be well. And it comes across that way. I'm glad it comes across that way. I know people feel that when they eat it. I know you do when you get those muffins. Okay, it's very intentional. We have to be intentional in this lifetime. You're one of my favorite people I look up to, because you're very intentional. And that's why we get along so well. Forget that we're born in December, but we're very intentional in we're very intentional in what it is that we do. So, and that's why we serve. That's why we're so well. That's why we are well.
Right.
That's why we are well.
Absolutely. And it comes across in more than the muffins, right? It comes across in the lamb tacos. It comes across in the enchiladas. It comes across in your cauliflower mac and cheese. Okay, you know that we need to have a food day, right?
Yeah, we do have a food day.
But
yes, we do.
it comes across in all that you do. And you talked about being well, and you mentioned that people have gotten better from your cooking. Can you just share a little bit about that? Like, what have you seen?
Very early on in my career, I had a professional call me up. And she said, my daughter has an allergy and she can't eat certain foods. She can't eat corn. She can't have dairy. She can't have corn. There was a myriad of things she couldn't eat. And this was a professional woman. She did not cook. And she said, look, I found you because one, I knew you were Black. I found you were Black, and I know you would do this, So over a matter of, I would have to say 9 to 12 months, that child didn't have, we took care of all the restrictions. I mean, so you're talking about a 9-year-old child, so how can you tell a 9-year-old child she can't have a chicken nugget? You can't tell her that. You find out how you can make a chicken nugget without gluten. Okay, so she had chicken nuggets coated in a coconut. Okay, she didn't care. It was it was a chicken nugget. It was okay. But over time, over about 9 months time, her allergies all cleared up.
Oh, beautiful.
I've had a couple that were working out, and they were doing what is the name of that food? What is the name of that? I can't think of the name of it, but it's multi-level marketing. They do it now. It's I can't think of it. I'm sorry, but they would have their shakes in the morning, and they would have their snacks in the afternoon. But at night, they would eat my food. Okay, so they followed their protocol, and they ate my food at night, and they were working out every night and everything. In 9 months' time, they were looking like Ken and Barbie. Okay. they were looking like Ken and Barbie, because they were following a protocol. And of course they were, they were committed, but I only cooked the food that they wanted, and they had it portioned out, and they were looking beautiful, because they were following a protocol. What is the name of that? What is it over there on 190th in Vermont?
Oh,
you know the name of that?
We used to talk about it all the time on the way to ECMS.
Yeah. What's that over? I want to say Nutrisystem. It's not Nutrisystem.
It's Nutrilife?
No, that's it. Herbalife. That's what it was. Herbalife. 190th in Vermont. You know what I'm talking about. So, and they were on Herbalife, and they had their shakes in the morning and their snacks, but they ate my food at night. And literally after 9 months time, they were really looking beautiful. So it's more of a commitment that you have to follow, just like veganism. I mean, you have to, if that's what you're going to do, you can ease your way into it. It's not easy. I've cooked for vegans now, and I know I gotta have that pork chop, but everything in moderation. But but at least it's a lifestyle that one can do in moderation. Even if you feel you want a turkey burger every now and then, you want a steak every 3-4 months, everything is in moderation. I love Phillips barbecue, but it's a luxury. I'm only going to go there every 3-4 months, and then I'm not going to go anymore, but at the same time, in between time, I'm doing my Brussels sprouts. In between time, I'm, eating real healthy and working out everything. So it's a commitment. We have to be mindful of what it is that we eat all the time, what it is that we're consuming, because you're either doing one or two things. You're either helping the situation or you're not helping the situation.
And I think
all day long.
And I think that's one of the things about saying when you hear chefs and doctors and people say, like, you are what you eat. We are food. And so what are we doing with our temples? That's where we only have one in this lifetime. And what are we doing and how are we feeding it? But and still at a way where it doesn't feel like a prison. Right? When we eat, it doesn't feel like we are punishing ourselves for eating well and going from there,
Food is fun. It shouldn't be difficult. We should, being knowledgeable of food, and the things it is color. Okay, let me just make it simple. Color is important. The more color that you have in the diet, the better nutrients that you will be receiving. Okay, so that means your watermelons, your tomatoes, your squashes, your sweet potatoes, okay, your Brussels sprouts. You could slice all that up with some olive oil on a sheet pan, and that's dinner, okay, and with a chicken breast, okay. So that's real simple food. It doesn't have to be complicated. The less we do to the food, the less processing we have, the better. Just remember color, and the less processing, the better. Raw foods are good. eating raw foods are good. You know, it's where you feel that you are in your journey, and it's being mindful, just like how we started today. Are we mindful of what it is that we're eating? We have to, if you see the drive-through and you're really hungry, that might not be a good choice. It just might not be a good choice. It might be a better choice if you maybe go to a restaurant or some little food place, or Hole in the Walls have good food too, but it's wholesome, because we know about drive-throughs, we know about fast foods, we know what we know the preservatives that they put in here. And you hear my cat? Do you hear my cat?
Is that my buddy?
Okay. Yeah, that's your buddy. Look at you. Okay, come on, cat. Be on Facebook Live. Come on. You want to be on Facebook Live? Okay. This is Buzzy. He wants to be on Facebook Live. Hi,
Yeah,
say hi to the people. Say hi to the people. All right, you good? Yes. Okay, here's your 15 minutes of fame. Go. Okay. So,
he's been going for a minute. I heard him.
I know. See, he's okay now. But definitely color is so important. We're very fortunate that we live in Southern California, and that we feed the world with our produce, and there's year round. Come on now, we're in California. Do you think anybody in Minnesota can find a watermelon right now? No, if they do, it's not going to be any good. So here we are in February, and we still have melons and cantaloupes. I saw some nectarines in the store. So we don't really have too much of an excuse for not eating well, except for not knowing. And if one can take on the idea of color, then that's a good cue. These fruit vendors that we see all around Los Angeles that have the cut fruit, the Hispanic people, that's really a bonus. That's a bonus for us, everybody got to be, everybody got to be on. But that's a bonus for us, because if you have $5 or $6, you can stop and get a tray of fruit. And that's fresh. And somebody's going to sit right, they're going to stand right there, going to cut it, going to put the lemon, the chili and everything on, and you can be on your way. Where can you go in other places of the world and find that? You're not in the United States. There's not too many places you can go outside of LA County and find that. So we're very fortunate that we do have choices to eat well. Right. We just have to make those choices.
And I'm glad you mentioned talking about food and food being fun and yes. So one thing that's not in Chef's bio is that she used to teach a cooking class at a middle school. That's actually how we met each other.
That's how we met.
I'll let you tell the story. You tell it so much better than me. But
it was just so fun. It's beautiful. We met at Environmental Charter Middle School. Excuse me. It's a beautiful charter school if you want to send your children there. And they put me in a room with 35 middle schoolers who were hungry, Lord, okay? And they wanted to learn about cooking, but you can't teach 35 young running around people to cook. Only thing you can do is give them something and they'll figure it out. But you came in and you created order. And in creating the order, we were able to at least show them some skills that they still have now. Because, remember when we gave them the knives and they started, it was like, what is it? No.
So
it was crazy.
And it wasn't like the kids who were like, oh, I just want to learn. Like this is on a Friday, y'all. This is on a Friday at the end of the week. And it's the 7th and 8th graders. And the young, energetic men. And they're like, Dad! And you're like, okay. All right.
It was so fun.
And so they're like, Miss T, do you think you can handle some kids? And I'm like, okay, sure. They're like, the cooking teacher needs some help. Okay, sure, whatever. And one day I walked in, I said, aren't you in my Wednesday homework class? Sit down. And they're like, well, we're hungry. Well, you gotta, if you want to eat, you gotta cook. And they're like, okay. And so they're like, well, here's because you ain't going to the hospital, not on my watch. So this is how you use it. And then they'd all sit down and chef like, okay, so
Exactly.
this is how you use the knife. And chef would,
Right.
once they proved it themselves, and we found the responsible one of their group. But one of my favorite days was we just put ingredients in front of them. And,
Exactly.
and we
Exactly.
said, make a smoothie. And they were
Exactly. I remember that.
make a smoothie. We were like, make a smoothie. So chef and I just stood in the classroom and we were like, did you see them put the jalapeno in the blender? She's like, girl. I said, okay. But the kids, I think we had to taste like 15 different smoothies that day
We
because
did.
they were so proud of their
They
creations.
were.
And and so chef, you were there on Fridays, but I was there Monday through Friday. So,
Yes.
the following Monday, I had parents coming up to me, you know that your class has raised my grocery bill.
Oh, wow.
Because
Oh,
the
wow. Because they
kids
went and got a bang of fruit. Uh-huh.
and the kids were starting to actually cook for their families. So when they
Good.
learned how to
Good.
make the pizza from scratch, they were like, no,
Exactly.
we don't need little scissors. I can make it, mom. And they go. And so
Mhm.
initially the parents were like, our grocery bill is higher. But then as the semester and the
Mhm.
school year went on, they were like, I got a break today. So and so
Good.
cooked
See,
for
what a
dinner and
blessing.
I could just sit down and how
What a
much
blessing.
fun they enjoyed having just learning how to cook. So when
Exactly.
chefs
Exactly.
say, when people say like put home ec back in school, like they really
Oh,
mean
please.
put it
Please.
back in school. That was part of the knowledge and the
It really
learning, and this is
was.
what we do. So yeah,
It really
when
was.
chef is talking about really educating and knowing and figuring out, and that's what she would say in the class, like, okay, children, color, which one has the color, what are you doing? And they learn how to
Exactly.
chop up some red cabbage and go from there and figure it all out.
Right, right. And and that's when you need to get them. You need to get them young. I was baking in the second grade. Okay, so that's probably why my muffins is on hit because I've got a lot of experience. But seriously, and me and my girlfriend were making banana pudding, Nilla pudding in the second grade. We were in her kitchen slicing bananas. I had an easy bake oven. So I've always been around food. I've always liked eating, and again, like I said, people have always served me in a manner that I said, oh, that's so wonderful. I want to return that. I want to return that favor. So definitely when you're teaching someone to cook, you're definitely teaching them to fish, and because they'll continue to fish, and again, we have gotten away from that. The person that rules the kitchen really rules the world. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's got to eat.
Mhm.
And if you're bringing good food to the table, if you're bringing, this is just an example. If you're bringing good, wholesome food to the table with good energy, that is going to go into that person. They will grow in that manner. Now, goodness, we can take other examples of, if we took it 180, if you have children that aren't growing up eating correctly, they're not going to have a very good adulthood. My children are in the military. I speak to military people all the time. One gentleman who's a drill instructor, he would tell me at least every quarter there was a young soldier who would break their hip. Now, who, my God, could, at 21 should have a broken hip? But if you've been eating Takis and what's that monster drink, and if that's what you're drinking and that's what you're eating, that's what you're putting into your body, you're not putting any nutrients in it. So then at 21, 22, you really try to go out and exert yourself and everything, your body's going to break down because it didn't have anything to start with.
Mhm.
Those are very good examples. So, with the rites of passage, every year we have a nutrition class, and I tell them just what I'm telling you guys. Please, we make smoothies. I let all the guys, they make smoothies, and we do grilled cheese sandwiches. But they're very empowered by that. Okay, there's all the fruit. Make everything you want, and then make sure you share with everyone so they can taste your creation and you guys can exchange notes. Okay, look, go home, tell mom, hey, look, we need to go to the grocery store. We need to get some, some grapes and apples and avocados so we can make a smoothie. And it's even documented that children that have a smoothie at least once a day are they'll have better they'll be better cognitively at school, and their weight will come down because they've had, some vegetables and some fruit, in their diets, and, a smoothie is a really good way to get all your vegetables and all your fruits and everything.
So speaking of that, we, as you all know, we do have the food bank. And so here are some things that have been staples in the food bank. I'm just gonna throw some food at you and let you say what we can do. Okay, so
sure.
Here are some staples. Some staples are potatoes, onion, grape tomatoes, squash, and pasta and oranges. Those are staples that we get just about every single week.
Every single week. Okay, so the potatoes, everything that you said that was good. I would take everything that you have there, slice it up with some olive oil, except for the oranges. The oranges is your dessert, and roast them. Salt and pepper, olive oil, roast them. You can roast the potatoes too, but that's kind of starchy. You've got the squash, you've got the tomatoes. If you had a green, if you had a little spinach, believe it or not, spinach does roast. It doesn't, it does roast like a Brussels sprout. Okay. And it's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's a lot of color. And once you roast something, there's something that's called the Maillard reaction. It brings out the sugar in the food. Okay, because all food, all natural food has some sort of sugar in it. Okay, so when you roast it, it brings out the sugar in it. That's what the char is. The char is the sugar on the, in the ingredient, the sugar in the food. That's what's burning.
Okay.
So definitely, I would roast that up and maybe take the potato and bake it, wrap it in some aluminum and bake it, and you can have that for another time. Just and you pull it out the refrigerator, take it out the aluminum, microwave it, and then you could take the vegetables that you just roasted and eat it on top of the potato. We haven't even talked about meat, and look how good that is. You haven't talked about meat. And right there you have a meal.
Let's see, I'm trying to think of some other staples that we you already mentioned Brussels sprouts, which we get
those are so good. Those are so good. Those are so good roasted. And even if you don't roast them, they're good with garlic and lemon. They're so good. Any type of green. When you think of green, you think of that means oxygen. That's chlorophyll. When you think of red, okay, that's your lycopene, your tomatoes, and your watermelons. Even food that is dark in nature, eggplant, beets are awesome. Beets are awesome. People don't, there is something in nature called black rice. Okay. It is the healthiest food on the planet. Did I say it was black? Okay. It's the healthiest food on the planet. It's very nutrient dense.
It's have to have her gumbo with black rice. You have to have.
Yeah. You got to have gumbo with black rice, but, it's called forbidden rice for a reason, because, rice is centuries old. So when the emperor had this rice, he would not let anyone in the kingdom eat it. He kept it for himself and his family and his concubines. And the reason why it was called forbidden was because if you ate it, they would kill you, because they didn't want you to be healthy. But it's one of the healthiest things you can eat. It's very nutrient dense. It's very satisfying. Okay, so it's good for diabetes because it'll satisfy you and you won't eat that much. It won't raise your blood sugar. It's just anything that's dark in nature. I'll just have to say this: anything that's dark in nature is very good. It's very good for you. Okay, I'm gonna say that again for all the wonderful people out there in Facebook. Anything dark in nature is good for you. Okay, look at your hand. Look at your hand. Dark in nature. Okay, that means it's good. Hey, it's good for you. Okay, so and I say that to every class, and they laugh and everything, but it's the truth. Okay, it is the God's truth. So
Can you go back to the eggplant? That is actually something we get quite often, and just
really,
about yes, and just about every week, someone goes, "What is this?"
what
I
do you
say,
do with
"The
it?
eggplant," and they're like, "What do I do?"
What do
And
you
I'm
do
like,
with
"You roast
it?
it."
Yes, you can roll. You can treat it like a squash. You
Okay.
can treat it like a squash. You can cut it up and saute it. And the eggplant parmesan, you can treat it like you can slice it and treat it like it's a piece of chicken and make parmesan out of it. You know how to bread it. You bread it and served with spaghetti.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Okay.
I mean, you can treat it like meat, okay? Because it is that dense of a vegetable that you can treat it like that. But it's also very good. You can cut it up and saute it. There's just so many things you can do with this with an eggplant. Somebody said, "What can you do with an eggplant?"
This is helping. This I can answer more questions.
Yes,
With the
yes. You know what? We'll have to make you something. We'll have to make you something. You know what? What we'll do is I'll check my schedule and I'll come to a food giveaway and I'll see what you have and I'll see what I can do right there. If I can like come early and
oh
and see what they have. I know the way all these churches got kitchens, right?
yes, I'll send
Okay.
you the schedule.
Okay. There
Because
you go. Okay.
um the
We
different food banks get different things. So
right.
as you've seen a lot of times on Thursdays, it's only hit and miss in terms of the meat. That it's
Mhm.
more of the organic produce and things. But sometimes sometimes at the Tuesday there may be some chicken. One time on a Saturday we had filet mignon and chicken. And
Can I have some filet mignon? I ain't mad at you. Shoot. Look, amen. Amen. It's a
It's
really good
actually
piece of
kind
meat.
of one of the things that we really love about the food bank is since we never know what we're gonna get, it's always like, what did we get today? One time
Oh,
there
I
was
feel like a
Capri
box of
Sun. And
chocolates.
listen, and then there's always different types of bread, right? There's the brioche bread. There's the sourdough bread. There's the grain. You really never know what you're gonna get from week to week in different times and pickups and things. Shout out to brother Mitch, who is just awesome. But
Mm.
it like today we got plantains, and we've been doing the food bank for about 7 months or so now. It was the very first
Mhm.
time that we are gotten plantains, and but every once in a while we'll get a red cabbage, or and lettuce seems to be a staple. Celery,
That's good.
big celery stalks and things. So it's always
That's
fun
good.
figuring it out. And some people talk about celery juice. Um,
That's good. That's
can you
very good.
talk a little bit about celery juice and why it's good, or how you make it, things like that?
I haven't made it before, but what I can tell you, celery is very good for your blood pressure. It's a water-based vegetable. So anytime it's a really good juicing vegetable. So what I can tell you, because I like to say this, I don't like to speak on things I don't know. I haven't used a lot of celery other than putting in my black eyed peas, putting in my potatoes.
Mhm.
But I have found people but what I have read about it is that it's very good for your blood pressure. I mean, just drinking that, if you were to be consistent with that, you could really come off of your medication, but you have to be committed. You have to be committed because of the wonderful in, the, each vegetable has like a targeted thing. Like celery is good for blood pressure. Your carrots has the beta carotene. Tomatoes have lycopene. They're very good for your blood, red blood. Okay. And of course, watermelons are the same, and that's just water. That's just, you can't beat it. You can eat a watermelon and you can eat watermelon every day and be wonderful. Okay, because you'll be hydrated and you'll have wonderful cancer fighting agents.
And
But
that's
what
a
I can't tell you about, say again.
and that's a way to get your water in if you're not
Definitely, that's
water,
definitely a way to get
water
your hydration in. It's definitely a good way to get your hydration in. You know, I'm guilty. I'm guilty of not drinking as much water as I need to. But if I can go get a watermelon and cut it up and eat it, I feel like I've satisfied that my water intake for the day. But any type of juicing is really good. You know, your carrots and your celery and not eggplant, no. Now you can't juice eggplant. I haven't tried that yet. But yeah, it's just anytime you, okay, and this is another thing. Juicing is good, but if it is a smoothie, meaning that you're getting the fiber that's in the food, is even better. Juicing is one thing because, you know, you're going to drink it, but a smoothie is another because you're getting the fiber. And natural fiber is great for you because, of course, we want to keep our digestive system open. So, you know, in my opinion, smoothie over juicing.
Smoothie over.
If I had my druthers, juice, smoothie over juicing.
And you have a comment. It says, "Say that again, Chef Tate. Every veg and fruit targets a part of the body."
Yes, it does. Thank you. There used to be, you know, if we think about it, walnuts, if we think about walnuts and then the convolutions in the walnut, they're very good for your brain. Okay. And if you cut open a carrot and you look at it, the cross section, it looks like an eye, you know? So, you know, God didn't make any mistakes when he made fruits and vegetables, and he made a language, you know, so we just have to understand what the language is. You know, just like, oh, look at we just have to understand the language. We don't learn the language. That's how come we don't know. Tell puppy to go away. Wait, she heard food. That's what it was. She heard food and Chef Tate. That's what it was.
We've been talking about food this whole time and I'm ready to eat, you know, and she knows every time I mention your name, there's food. So you called her up here when you asked her if she was going to join us today before.
Oh, really?
And I said, normally she's pretty chill. You called her today. This is all you.
Amen. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Look, she already got a comment. Hi, Zena. Yes, y'all. This is the infamous Zena.
See, look. You might have to do a Zoom meeting with your dog. Okay.
That would be a trip. That would be.
That would probably be a good one. We'll bring Buzzy. Look, what did I tell you? Here's Buzzy right here.
Because they need to eat too. But I'm glad you mentioned the carrots and the eyes. You know, we are on Zoom so much. You know, Zoom fatigue is real. I often tell my students to save their eyes. And like, how are we supposed to do that, TJ, Professor TJ? And I'm like, I don't know, eat something. And like, what are we supposed to eat? I don't know. I'm here to teach y'all African American studies. But so carrots, I can tell them carrots now. And let them know carrots is good for your eyes.
Anything orange in nature. Okay, so we're talking sweet potatoes. What else is orange? Mangoes. I mean, mangoes are just good, period, for everything. But if you just think about something that's orange in nature, that has the beta carotene, every color tells a story. Every color tells a story. And black too, okay? There's something called red. There's something in nature called red rice. And red rice has the same lycopene as the tomato and the watermelon. And of course, with rice being an Asian food, that's where you would find it. We used to could find it at Winco, but we know the situation at Winco. But you can find it online. But that again is, you know, if we look at color, you know, red rice has, you know, it has the red, has the lycopene, which is good. Okay, the orange, the carrots is good. Carrot juice, carrots and peanut butter is a wonderful snack. You know, what I think we could do now, because I'm guilty of leaving out the door and not having some kind of snack when while I'm out driving and everything. So the fast food becomes attractive. Mm-hmm. You know, we can run it. No, you have to train yourself to be a little bit more cognizant of what it is that we're eating. And I don't know, everyone is not out as much as, we're still under a pandemic, but I find out because I'm out a lot, I try to make sure I keep healthy snacks with me. If just some fruit snacks in my purse, because when I do see a drive-through, I'm not pulling in there, but I look at the line. I look at the line and I think about the people in the line. Um, there's a new Chick-fil-A on Centinela and La Cienega, and the line is consistent. It is consistent, you know, and I wonder, that intersection has always been a busy intersection, but now there's an intersection with a drive-through and it's busy. And even though I don't eat Chick-fil-A, I really try to stay away from fast food restaurants. I really think about those people that are in the line. Are they really thinking about what it is they're eating, or are they just trying to get something to eat? We need to be mindful of what it is that we eat every time. Every time we go to put something in our mouths, we have to be mindful, and what I've always said is that health and wellness is a culture. We have to think about it all the time. Just like you were saying, people have Zoom fatigue and everything. I have found that, having a Himalayan salt lamp near your monitor or near your electronics will lower the fatigue and lower the stress. So those are definitely modalities one needs to think about, because we are inside more now than we have been. And we are on the advent of 5G. And guess what? After 5G, there's going to be a 6 and a 7. It will not stop at 5G. Okay. So we're looking at the advent of a lot of electromagnetic field, a lot of radiation. So, and believe it or not, that affects the human body. All right. So it's even more so important that we get proper nutrition, because we're combating these things. We're really combating these things. And having a Himalayan salt products, Himalayan salt products that we consume really helps us combat what we're in, because we're in a toxic environment. We just need to understand that we're in a toxic environment. Everywhere we go is something, so if we can put on the full armor, if you may say, of saying, what can I eat that's going to guard me against this, this world that we're in,
Right. I have a couple comments, right? You have a couple comments. One says, I gotta try carrots and peanut butter. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, carrots and that's the ticket. It's a good snack. It's a really good snack. And wait a minute. Let's take it a step further. Okay, so we're older now. Almond butter is even better. Almond butter is even better. Okay. And what I find is that
some raisins on top. With some raisins on top.
There you go. I got everything in the refrigerator. Okay. But, almonds are a really good snack. Like if you're hungry at night, if you just have a handful of almonds, because, we can't sleep on an empty stomach. Your stomach's not going to let you sleep. It really will not. Okay.
No, it will wake
so
you up.
If so if you have some almonds or some almond butter and you just take a spoon of that, it'll quiet your stomach so you can at least get to sleep. Because believe it or not, when we're sleeping, we are burning calories, and your stomach is still processing. So almond butter, carrots and peanut butter, yeah, but almond butter, we've gone next level. We've gone next level.
And someone referring back to Chick-fil-A, in terms of people think Chick-fil-A is healthy when it's so fried and things like that. So how do you navigate if someone's like, okay, but I don't go to McDonald's, I go to Chick-fil-A?
Okay. All right. You should be cooking your own food. I really feel that, if you're cooking your own food, you have more control over your destiny. Let's just say that. Fast food restaurants are there for a reason. They're for a distraction, It would be wonderful if we had access to more fresh fruit. If you just like running the liquor store, it would be nice if a couple of bananas and stuff were there. You know what I'm saying? If some fruit were there, but instead we're putting fast food restaurants. It should just, here we go back to the culture. Here we go back to the culture. It's a health and wellness culture that is, it's a quick fix. It's fast food.
Right.
It didn't say nutrition. It didn't say nutrition, even though they give you nutrition information. But hey, McDonald's makes a chicken sandwich. Okay, if that's the only thing that they sold, Chick-fil-A just picked it up and ran with it. You know what I'm saying? It's still bread. It's still chicken. It's still breaded and it's fried.
Process.
Okay. It's processed. It's processed. And like I'll come back to saying, the least processed, the better.
Right.
Chicken sandwich isn't bad, but hey, do you have to fry it with a breading? Can you just eat it, just a grilled chicken sandwich? And I hope that Chick-fil-A does have something like that. I mean, I don't eat there, but if you are going to go in that drive-through, look for the healthy option. Look for the healthy option, because I'm sure they have one. It may not be many. Okay?
Right. And we do understand that sometimes when one is in survival mode, it's always, okay, something better than nothing. But then once we come to this knowledge and are able to share the knowledge and come across, then you know better, you do better, right?
Exactly.
And going from there and taking, and we do understand that sometimes people need help. And so getting this information out where, okay, go to there, here is where you can get some free food to help you out, so you can go in and be able to recreate the culture, right? People of African descent, going through history and things, is there's always been, as you said, service and food and the
exactly
aspect of it, and looking at it in that aspect. We are almost out of time, but very, very quickly, not very quickly, but you mentioned that you are out. In the midst of the pandemic, many people have been staying home, but there are some like you as a personal chef who are still out and about. I tend to be out and about with the food bank, and then sometimes I grocery shop
We're working.
for elders.
We're in the community. We're in the community.
So one of the ways that we stay healthy is Chef's Everyday Elixir. And so please talk about your everyday elixir.
Yes. Oh gosh. Gee, thanks. and you know what? Okay, so look, I don't know who all is listening to it. I love you. I don't look 60, but I'm 60. Okay. I'm OG. All right. So I'm not used to being in front of cameras, and I'm not used to being out there and talking. So this is a learning experience. And I thank you so much for allowing me to learn and allowing me to talk about it. Everyday Elixir is a wonderful drink that I created. And necessity is the mother of invention. Okay. One year, my children and we all got flu shots, and they were sick for a week. And I figured this isn't something we're going to do again. So I created a juice that I came across a recipe, and it was just pineapple juice with maybe some powdered ginger and some powdered garlic. And so I took it and I just put everything in it that I felt should be in it. Instead of powdered garlic and ginger, I went and got raw ginger and raw garlic and put that in the elixir. And then over time, I just found things that would be better for you that we could put in it. Cayenne, turmeric, Himalayan pink salt. Each ingredient plays a part in one's wellness. Ginger and garlic are both, they're both root vegetables, but they're very good for digestion and immunity. Okay. And so again, it started out being a flu shot. It started out being something that if you get sick, if you come down with a cold, you can drink it. But we found that if we drink it every day, that it will keep your immune system up, because that's what it was. It was a shot to get your immune system up. Okay. So we found that by drinking it every day, It will keep your immune system up, you know. And it just so happened in this time of COVID, when I was drinking, are you looking at the dog?
There's a pit bull outside. She's about to try and start barking. I'm trying
Oh
to
my
stop her.
goodness. Okay. But anyhow, but I found that in a time of COVID, because I was infected, because I was drinking my elixir every day, it minimized the symptoms. Okay. So, the people that had the really bad cases, that couldn't taste, sick, nausea, the not eating, those symptoms were minimized greatly because I had, all that immunity in my system. It was already had the ginger and the garlic and the turmeric. Turmeric is an excellent antioxidant. Cayenne opens up your blood vessels. It also opens up the nasal passages. So when you drink it, it's working on a lot of aspects in your body. And I'm fortunate enough that I've made it and I'm distributing it. And the goal is for it to be on a store shelf. It's a wonderful thing, but it's an extension. It's an extension of myself because I want us well. I want us well. We need to be more in tune with our health because our health is our wealth. We can't do what we do unless we're well. You can't, you can't save the world if you're trying to save your appendix. You can't save the world if you're fibromyalgia, or your gout or something, so. And I'm very fortunate that I have a great immune system. And because I have a great immune system, I try to protect it. I make it the business of trying to keep my immune system well, and yours too. Anyone that I come in contact with, because we need to be well. I mean, I know you put that on the advertisement, but that's who we should live. We have to live that.
And being more than well is a lifestyle.
Yes, it is. It's a
a
culture.
it's a
It's a
culture,
culture.
and it's a commitment to we. It's a commitment to
Yes,
you.
very much so. Very
So
much so.
we
You have
are.
to be committed.
And
Mhm.
being able to do that, and of course we're going to hype up everyday elixir, and
Yes.
go to Chef Tate's page and order some everyday elixir,
And
but
call me.
or Paul will put her information in the chat. But sometimes, with my schedule, I can't always get to Chef's everyday elixir, right?
Mhm.
So I might make sure that I have some hot water with organic raw honey and elderberry with some
Yes.
garlic.
Awesome. Yes.
I'm laughing in the chat. One time I went to Pastor Jack's house and there was garlic powder, and I was like, "Mom, where is the fresh garlic?" And so as soon as she said garlic powder, she said, "CT, I told you." But having those things on hand to be able to take care of ourselves as much as possible, and we see how the grocery stores prices have skyrocketed, and so we must figure out how we can take care of ourselves in a way.
You know, it's expensive to live here in California. It's expensive to live here in Los Angeles. I'm going to say that. Okay. And food prices are not going down. Um, when I teach my classes, I try to go to the local store wherever it is I'm teaching to tell them what I got there and what they can do. And what I have found is that the 99-cent store produce is good. And anything they have in there, even though it may be 99 cents, you should try it. If they have some ginger tea, and I know they have ginger in their produce, if you could get some ginger and get some garlic and drink it in some hot water. I tell people, you know, Everyday Elixir is here for you. If you want to purchase it, that's fine. If you can't, do something for your immunity. Do something, do that extra something to keep you well. Sea moss. Sea moss is the new thing right now. I haven't jumped on that bandwagon. I've tried it and it's very good, but that's just not me. I have my elixir, but as long as you're doing something that you are contributing, or you are just making sure you're getting that extra something, you're mindful. You're mindful of your immune system because, right now, we're in an environment, where if you're not keeping your immune system up, you could catch a virus. They have vaccines and everything, but if you keep your immune system up, you might not need it. You might not need it, and it's a job. Like you said, it's a commitment, it's a lifestyle. But if you do that, and I'm sorry, I know we're going over, but your mental health is very, very, very important. If we aren't, just like you said, we were mindful before we started. That was a beautiful stage to set. Because we went into this wonderful, we went into this, mindful, we went into this knowing we're going to have a good time here despite everything else that goes on in the world, so we have to be mindful of everything it is and cooking is being mindful. Cooking is being mindful because you're being very deliberate in what it is that you're doing for yourself, and that's the best thing you can ever do. That's the best thing. That's the best gift you can give to yourself, is to be healthy.
Right. And we stress this, in terms of not to create stress, but
No,
to look at the importance of it, talking about mental health and how food is connected so much to our mental health.
yes,
Chef Tate said
yes,
earlier that God didn't make any mistakes. And we
no,
see that with the Daniel fast. How
that's right.
often do we see people who did the Daniel fast and their anxiety is down? They don't feel as
Mhm.
depressed and things like that. And so you have this combination of praying and eating right at the same
Mhm.
time. No, there are
Mhm.
many of us, and I used to be one of them. Like, I'm praying, 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 but I still don't feel well. Praying, 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 but I still
Oh,
don't feel well.
okay.
Well,
Well,
how
faith without
about I
works.
add the works
Faith
part,
without
right?
works. Okay,
And
faith
going
without
from
works.
there. And in this time, we are at home, and even though things are opened up, how much fear mongering is there?
Yes, it's
We
very
don't know
true.
to the extent that this shelter in place or quarantine pandemic has really impacted people's mental. The
Mental
kids
health.
are having
Mental
breakdowns
health.
on Zoom and
Right.
things like that. So we must do what is in our control to combat this. And one of
Exactly.
those ways is food wise. So instead
Yes.
of getting the ice cream, and I know it's hard, I love some Turkish ice cream. I do. The Turkish coffee ice cream is amazing. But I know that I need to have that, every other month. And instead get the almond butter, like
Right.
Chef said. When we especially talk about Black people, African people being free and liberating, it is
Yeah,
mind, body, soul, economic, social,
all of
communal,
it.
culture, all of it. And so returning to our ways and adapting them in this time, including how we eat, is imperative. It's imperative.
It's critical. It's critical. It's critical. You know, um, the, you know, food we eat every day. We're eating something 2 to 3 times a day. 3 times a day and everything in between. So if you're not mindful of what it is that you're eating, and again, when you're eating, you shouldn't be in a rush. Because like how you consume your food really has a lot, it has a lot to do with how it's going to, come into your body. So, and when somebody said, oh, okay, fast food line, think about the hands that prepare your food. Okay. If you're preparing your food and you're kind of stressed out, guess what? You'll have stressed out prepared food. Food is therapy. Preparing food is therapy. I love what I do because I get an end result. And the end result is those people are going to be nourished and they're going to know that they're going to be better because of it. Because I thought about that when I made it, when I was making the food. Okay. So it is a process. We have to get back in the kitchen. If I haven't said that since we started, I need to say it. We have to get back into the kitchen. You know, I've had, I'm being a personal chef and being all around Los Angeles. I see some fabulous kitchens, but they're not cooking in them. They're not, they're just show places. Hurts my heart. I'll go in there and dirty it up, but but they're not used. You know what I'm saying? I love a church kitchen because the church kitchen was used. Come on now. How many times was they in there cooking and doing whatever they was? I miss the church kitchen, because it's one of the most stocked places. And believe it or not, there's a lot of love in there. Okay. Because we know the history of the women in there and how they did. And if there's any sort of event that's going on, we're doing it. We're serving, we're being servants. Okay. So that's why I love church kitchens. But I just say this again to say that, we have to get back into the kitchen. We have to get back into the mindset of cooking for ourselves, of cooking for our family. That's legacy. I just happen to be fortunate that I came from a long line of people that cared about people and served people. We want to do that for each other, because that is how we will progress. We have to progress, and we have to progress in a way that is better. You know what I'm saying? Because the path that we're on is a little shaky right now, is one would, imagine. So we have to get back to basics. Sankofa is real. We have to go back to basics. There's nothing new that we need to be doing that's going to be so wonderful that we need to change. The only thing we've done is bring technology into life. That's the only thing that's happened. We're still the same humans. We're still born the same way. We die in different ways, but we're still born the same way. Okay. So that should not change how the body should be nourished, how we should care for each other, and cooking for one is, that's therapy. That's therapy, because just remember, if you're feeding your person and your intentions are good, you're going to have a good outcome, because we can see we can see 180 degrees. If we kind of look around and see how people are eating and how children are, we can kind of see that. I was leaving, going to deliver some food, and I saw some people walking across the street from the 7-Eleven, and they all were a little heavy, and all of them had Slurpees, and all of them had hot dogs, and they were all heavy, and that to me was, it hurts me a little, because I know that it doesn't have to be. But because we live in a stressful environment, because we have a stressful life, we're in LA, This is the best place in the world, but it's also a little stressful. Right. So if we can take some time to, be mindful about what it is we do, and to prepare food for ourselves, and to, make sure our family is well fed, then, then we have, we've succeeded. Right. We've succeeded even in that small task of cooking for each other. We've succeeded. Now we just have to be consistent.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so with that, and sometimes people just don't like cooking, so we encourage you to find a personal chef if you are able to, have good food and not have to rely on the fast food. Chef Tate is here in LA. For those who are on social media, there are many personal chefs who are showing what their services are throughout and things like that. But the main thing is, remember that we are food. We are what we are eating, and find ways to eat healthy so that we can be as well as possible as we navigate this life. And Chef Tate, we appreciate you
Thank you so much.
If you would like to have any last words before we wrap up.
Okay, well, I am a partner with the UMA Clinic. It is a nonprofit clinic that is in Los Angeles, South Los Angeles. And there is a program that is in that clinic. It is called Black Visions of Wellness. It is a program where one can get lots of services, from counseling to me. You can get physical training, a gym membership, Reiki, Rhonda. You can get massage therapy. You can get all those non-traditional services from that healthcare provider, and that's with Medi-Cal. That's a Medi-Cal. You can get those services because, we understand that as Black people, it's not always a pill.
Right.
It's a way, maybe a massage would help you. Maybe some Reiki would help you. Maybe just learning how to have a better pantry. Because of course, if you're going to go eat, you can't just, if you're going to go cook, you can't just run in the kitchen and cook. You have to have some things already set up, So I am available for anyone who wants to talk food. I'm, being a fourth generation food service professional, this is just what I do. I live food. I'm here for my community. I will start back with Zoom classes, not necessarily Zoom classes, but I'll be doing online food demonstrations starting the 9th. So I'll let you know how one can access it. And the first thing we're going to talk about is immunity. We're going to talk about everyday elixir. But the second thing we're going to get into is, what you should have in your pantry, because when you go in and you cook, just like the things that you said that you get from the food giveaways, if you have some things already in your pantry, when you come home, then it's not a stressful thing to come home and roast those vegetables or bake that potato or put some salt and pepper on the filet mignon. Jesus, y'all getting filet. Woo, okay, so
I will be.
That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful
thing. It's a blessing. But, it really is. Mm-hmm. It really is.
But but just just remember, we are in control of our lives. If we can eat better, then we're in better control of our lives. There's so many things that pull on us from day to day. It's not one thing, it's another. The world is crazy. I'm sorry to say that, but we are well. We are not of that. We are not of that. What do you say? You're in it, but not of it. You're in the world, but you're not of the world. Okay. So as long as we can understand that we're not going to let this affect us and we're going to be as mindful as we are of our health, then it makes life a little easier.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Chef Tate, thank you for sharing. Thoroughly enjoyed. Thank you, Chef Tate. We are so grateful for you. We love you.
I'm grateful.
You mentioned Rhonda. Rhonda was in the chat saying hi to you. But Faye was in the chat saying hi to you. So we love you. We thoroughly love you. And thank you so much for being part of our community Hour of Power. Stay tuned. Keep following our page. Next week, our title is Creatively We. We are excited. Have a great speaker next week, and see you all next week. Chef Tate, I will see you tomorrow with my muffins.
Thank you.
And
we'll be on it. We're gonna be working.
We will. We'll work out first.
It's a complete honor and privilege. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Take care, everyone.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.